YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with some more NFL team-by-team record predictions for the upcoming 2018 season. So these are my predictions in the near future before the season starts. I would like to get some of the other guys part of the channel involved to get their predictions so we can get more perspectives on predictions for the season, who can win each division, who's going to make the playoffs. So basically, I'm going team by team here until I have my playoffs set. I'm going to predict the playoffs, and then I predict the Super Bowl. We did AFC East, NFC East. We're on to the AFC North here. We got the Browns and then the Steelers to do. We did the other two teams, so check them out if you haven't already. We are using a website called playoffpredictors.com. Link is in the description. Go ahead and click on that link. You can make your own predictions if you want. Pretty fun thing to do. Very useful site for us here with these videos. But we got the Cleveland Browns today. You know, I've been talking about the Browns a lot lately with some of the other matchups. I think on paper, I think everybody can agree, on paper the Browns are looking pretty good. You know, people are still expecting them to have a Browns type of season. I don't think it matters which quarterback they start. In my opinion, if I take a quarterback first overall, I'm going to play him day one. But Tyrod Taylor can play, no doubt about that. But, you know, even though I think it should be Baker Mayfield, it doesn't matter which one it is. I think they just need to stick it out with that guy unless they go Tyrod Taylor and then the season seems to be over at one point. I'm assuming they're going to throw Baker Mayfield in there. I never really like throwing a rookie quarterback into a bad situation where maybe, you know, some players may have given up. The team's kind of given up. It's kind of obvious. It's really not a good situation. It hasn't worked out in the past. But I don't care which quarterback they choose. I just want them to stick with it. They haven't done that in the past. I like bringing in a new offensive coordinator, Todd Haley from the Steelers. Maybe the play calling's better. I think he's the type of guy that will stick with his quarterback. It's not ultimately his choice, though. Hugh Jackson, you know, he said it himself, though. He thinks he puts the rookies in too early, and he kind of has to take them out too early. So maybe they're on the right page. The receiver unit is going to be better. Jarvis Landry, obviously. They just traded Corey Coleman, but they have plenty of receivers. Antonio Callaway could be a sleeper guy to look out for. Offensive line, I think, will be pretty solid. And they're pretty good. One thing they've been pretty good in the past is developing offensive line, make sure it's good. Defensively, I like their defense pretty much everywhere except for their secondary for right now. I like it for the future. I think the secondary could struggle a little bit. That they could use some more guys. Denzel Ward is looking very promising, though, in training camp. He'll have a good rookie season. But maybe it's just as a group, as a unit in the secondary, it could struggle a little bit at times. But with Myles Garrett, Emmanuel Ogbah coming off the edge, should be pretty impressive. The linebacker unit was already impressive, and they had Michael Kendricks. So defense can be pretty solid. I think teams can open up the passing game on them a little bit. But on paper, I think everybody can agree on paper they're going to be better than what they actually are, but really what it comes down to here is who they play, how the schedule turns out, what the record ends up being. Is the first time I'm looking at it right now. So let's go game by game. Pittsburgh in Cleveland. Honestly, with week one being week one in the NFL, being mysterious, unpredictable, the Browns could win this game, and they're at home. I think it's just too early. I think the more ready team it has the higher chances to win. Doesn't always end up like that, but the more ready team, the Steelers are going to be more ready week one than the Browns. So I have to go with the Steelers, but you never know. Then they're going to New Orleans. It's tough. That's a tough start. You know, like I said, the defense could be good, but I think the passing game opens up big time here in New Orleans for the Saints. The Saints win. Browns could score some points in that game. Could score some good points. I'm kind of curious to see their running back. Something I didn't mention. Who's going to be their running back? Carlos Hyde, you expect it to be. They have Nick Chubb, too. You expect it to be Hyde. And they have Duke Johnson, running back, kind of a slot receiver, can do it all. I like his game, but are we going to see majority carries Carlos Hyde? Are we going to see a split? It's going to be interesting to see. I just hope they're pretty set with it. I don't want them to be unsure. I don't want them to be switching guys too much. I never really agreed with that. Week 3, home against the Jets. This is where I'll give them their first win. I think the Jets are still a rebuild type team. There's a few teams that are in somewhat of a rebuild stage still. I think the Jets are early in on it. I think the Browns are still somewhat in it, but they're further along than the Jets are. That's just my opinion. But that really has nothing to do with the actual game. You know, whoever plays better obviously wins. Thursday night in Cleveland. being in Cleveland, I take the Browns. In Oakland for the Raiders game, on a Sunday, I'll take the Raiders at home. The Raiders, another tough team to tell how they'll be. I think they can go back to that Raiders team that made the playoffs before Derek Carr got hurt. Had an excellent team. They can be like that. It really depends on what Derek Carr we're going to get, what receiver unit we're going to get, running backs. I mean, they got pretty good two there, Marshawn Lynch, or more than two, but Lynch and Doug Martin, who's going to get most carries. Do you expect it to be Lynch? How good will he be? The defense, there's a lot of questions. Khalil Mack, you expect him to be out there playing at a high level at the end of the day, but some question marks on the defense too. Young guys. I like where they're headed though. Baltimore in Cleveland, division game. In the Ravens video, I picked the Browns here at being at home. I think I think pretty similar talent-wise. I think the Browns have more star potential right now than the Ravens. Ravens a little more balanced maybe, but Cleveland, being in Cleveland, I take the Browns here. Chargers go to Cleveland here. They could win the game, but I do like the Chargers roster a lot. I like their team a lot for this season. Could be a good season for them. In Tampa, this is tough. It really depends on who's going to be playing for Tampa at this point. I'll take in terms of quarterback, you expect it to be Winston, but is there more to come? I'll take the Bucs here though. I think honestly a similar defense between the two. The Bucs drafted pretty well this last year. They got some good playmakers there too. Secondary struggled a little bit in the past. Could be a little bit of a step up. I think very similar to the Browns in terms of defense. This week 7 game, who knows who will be the quarterback for both teams? Will it be the same guy that started for the start of the season? Will it be a new guy? Man, it could be an interesting situation for both teams there at that point. I'll take the Buccaneers at home, though. I think if it was in Cleveland, I think I would go Cleveland. In Pittsburgh, maybe if it was swapped, maybe if the first game was in Pittsburgh and then in Week 8 it was in Cleveland, maybe they would get one on the Steelers here in Week 8. But this one being in Pittsburgh, I got to go with the Steelers here. It's just a top-notch team in the NFL still. I think they will be this year as well, so I'll take them in that game. Kansas City in Cleveland. That's going to be a good game. I think the Chiefs are maybe a little overhyped. They do have some playmakers, do have some weapons. I think a bad matchup here for the Browns because I think the Chiefs can air it out downfield. I'll take the Chiefs in that one. In Cleveland makes it a good game. I think the Chiefs, I mentioned it before, we don't know what we're going to get from some of their offensive guys, but at the end of the day, we know they can throw the ball downfield. We know they have playmakers. Defensively, I don't know if it'll be as good of a defense as it was last year. Good draft, though, even not having a first-round pick. But it's an unpredictable team, but I like the matchup in that game. Atlanta and Cleveland. In Cleveland, so you can't rule them out, but again, maybe too much offense here out of Atlanta. Good duo running back, it's just too much offense. Yeah, I got to go at Atlanta there. Week 11 is the bye week. We're at 2-8. That's not looking good. They're better on paper they're much better than 2-8. Tough schedule here. A couple games that could have went either way. It's tough. In the Cincinnati video, I took the Bengals here at home. I think the Bengals are a sleeper team to look out for. I think they can win that game. And do pretty well in the season, actually. Week 13 in Houston, if healthy, Texans win that game. 2-10 is rough. Again, I think they're better than that. Home against Carolina. We'll get a little upset here. I'm feeling an upset. We'll go Cleveland at home. Carolina, we don't know what we're gonna get. They go to the Super Bowl the one year, the next year they're not so good, and the next year they were pretty darn good. They were a playoff team, which was last year. What are we gonna get this year? Offensive line. I think overall they're better than the Browns, but anybody can win any Sunday here in Cleveland. Just a bold prediction. I think the Browns get a good pass rush going in that game. We'll go with that. Week 15, the Browns are in Denver. Being in Denver just makes it tough. I'm going to go Denver there. This is a tough schedule. This is a very tough schedule. Home against the Bengals. I had them winning that one in the Bengals video. I had them splitting. And then at Baltimore, I had Baltimore winning in that video, so I'll stick to it. It's tough, 4-12. I think they could be better than that. I'm kind of surprised. Looking at their team before I did this, I thought it would be closer to 6 wins, possibly 7, but I was thinking more around 6 wins. They get 4. It's a tough schedule, you know. Got to play Pittsburgh twice, obviously. I think the Bengals could be pretty decent this year. I really do. The Ravens are always pretty solid. They're not going to go 2-0 against the Ravens. Yeah, really, I had them splitting with the Bengals and the Ravens. Honestly, they've been losing both games to them. So they could even lose those. I think they can beat the Raiders. Think they can. I mean, home against the Chargers, they can beat them. They can beat the Buccaneers. They can beat the Chiefs. So there's some games that can go either way. But I did have them beating teams like the Panthers. Like I said, the Ravens and the Bengals I gave them a win against. So it's a tough schedule. It's a very tough schedule. They're still young. Still a lot of question marks with really the coaching. The secondary, to me, the offensive line, I guess somewhat of a question without Joe Thomas still. Who's going to be the running back? So there's some question marks there. So I guess 4-12 is realistic. But before doing this, I was thinking around 6 wins, honestly. But, I mean, not much of a difference there, I guess. But on paper, you know, I think they look more like an 8-win team, 7-8-win team. So it's a tough one. I was not expecting 4-12, to be honest. So that'll do it for this one. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you think they'll be better than that? You know, there was always all these questions during the season. I've seen people plus or minus 5 wins or 6 wins, and I was like always thinking the over. But I guess I'm going under. It's a tough schedule. But, yep, that'll do it for this one. 10K subscribers is our goal. If you can help us get there, it'll be much appreciated. And if you can click that like button, that'll also be much appreciated. Future videos. We got a big fantasy video coming later this week. A lot of work to get done for that one still. It's going to be a big video. We got rankings, sleepers, risk picks, safer picks, all kinds of fun stuff. Oh, I got it all, in my opinion, obviously. So we'll get to that. Weekly pick'ems during the year, NFL and college. Can't wait for the season to start for either one of those. Love doing the weekly pick'ems. NFL, we have a few other guys on the show making pick'ems, so that always makes it interesting. So we got plenty of content to come for NFL and other sports. Stay tuned for all that. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Goodbye.